Yo, what is up guys, Yukeo here. Today we'll go over 10 basic tips for new Rocket League players. If that sounds interesting to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the community. But let's not waste any more time, let's get straight into the video. First tip I want to give you guys is going through all your settings, especially camera and video settings are the important ones. Let's quickly go through the camera settings. So definitely make sure you have camera shake off. That one is a really important one. Then field of FOV, make sure you find camera settings that are between 105 and 110 FOV, between 250 and 300 distance, 90 to 110 height, angle -2 to -6, and stiffness 0 to 1. Important note is distance and stiffness go together. So if you have 250 distance, for example, you want to stay between like 0 to 20 stiffness, for example. And if you have 300 distance, you want to make sure you go to very high stiffness. So 0.80 to 1 stiffness, for example. As for the video settings, I recommend you to have everything ticked off except transparent goalpost. You can technically go to high quality in the texture details and stuff like that. Also high quality shadows if you prefer that. But overall, I like to personally keep everything on high performance. The second tip that I can give you guys is to use Freeplay daily. If you want to get better at the game, Freeplay is your best friend because you have so much time on the ball. No one is challenging you. So you can basically mess around in Freeplay and improve your mechanics. Any flip reset or double touches or musty flicks or anything you've seen in montages, in Rocket League streams, people have been practicing them with multiple hours in Freeplay first before they can execute it in games. Me included. I've been practicing flip resets and the fastest improvement I've had with them is just by spamming them in Freeplay. So I don't want you guys to make the same mistake as me. Back in the days, I did not play enough Freeplay, and nowadays I started to realize that the more Freeplay, the better in terms of your mechanics. You can even ball chase because, you know, you're the only one on the ball in Freeplay, so you have the most time with the ball. Just be creative, practice whatever you want to practice at. But yeah, I definitely recommend you to play way more Freeplay. You can even learn stuff like boost management in Freeplay because there's an option to like tickle off unlimited boost. So to make it more realistic as well. But yeah, man, I really can't say it enough. It's better to overuse Freeplay than to underuse it. The third tip for today's video is going to be dribbling. In order to be a good dribbler, first thing you want to do is practice your car control. So keeping the ball up on your car should not be a problem. For some people, the circle on the ground can be helpful to help you with dribbling, but I personally just focus on the ball because in a real game, you're not supposed to look at the circle below you because then you won't realize when someone is going to challenge you. So I recommend you to practice keeping the ball up on your car. Any position on your car, you should be able to keep the ball up. You know, on the left side, on the right side, on front of your car. And yeah, that's the basic thing you need to practice at. It's really important. You really need to put in a lot of time into that. That should not be a problem. It should be as easy as like not even thinking about it, and you can keep the ball up anytime, any position. And then once you are able to do that, you want to be able to flick the ball. As you can see, at the end of my dribble, once I controlled it, I kept the ball somewhat in front of me, and then I jumped and immediately flicked it. So in order to have a powerful flick, what you want to do is time everything perfectly. Just mess around, like, hey, keep the ball a bit in front of you, and then you can flick it into the net. It's a little bit difficult to explain, but what I want you to do is just to mess around yourself. Once you're able to have good control, you want to mess around with how you can get a powerful flick. You basically need to like whip it up with the back part of your car in the end to get a lot of power and height. Like that. And then you get a really good flick. The fourth tip that I want to give you guys is improve your shooting. Important, notice that you should first be able to bounce dribble well. So in order to bounce dribble well, what you want to focus on is being able to control the ball from side to side and give yourself an angle, really important. And right after the bounce, you want to touch the ball. It's basically like a first touch as well. being good at that. So like keeping the ball here close with a little bit of power sliding, like that. And then right after the bounce, you can take a shot afterwards. But yeah, a really important part is to give yourself an angle. A lot of people like just dribble forward into the opponents, and that's a really bad habit. The good thing about bounce dribbling with an angle is that if you give yourself an angle, if he challenges you, you can then hit it around him. Or you can also like pass it into the middle if you need, if your teammate is there. And just in general, it makes it really difficult for the opponents to challenge you. That's why giving you an angle in the dribbles is really important. And right after the bounce, you want to hit the ball, and then you can place the shot after the bounce in any direction. So that's a really, really useful basic skill that will help you improve your rank really fast. So make sure you practice that a lot. It's a basic skill, but it's very effective. And another thing to improve your power shot is by even booming the ball against the sidewalls like that and forward right after the bounce. Timing is key. As you can see, we can get a lot of power on the ball. I can get the ball almost to the ceiling like that. Just mess around and time it well. Right after the bounce, you keep booming the ball. And yeah, that's a good way to improve your shooting. So let's get straight to the next point. I know you guys might not want to hear the next tip, but playing a lot of 1v1 is the best way to improve. It is sad, but it actually is a very good way to improve. And I can tell you guys so many arguments towards it that you guys should really consider grinding 1v1 if you haven't yet. So a lot of good things that come from 1v1 are, for example, it improves your offense, it improves your defense, it improves your decision making, it improves your dribbles, it improves your ball control, it improves your challenges, it improves your boost management, it improves your decision making, it improves the being able to read your opponent's car movement, how your car movement appears to the opponent, what's threatening, everything literally. There's so many good things that come from 1v1, and you guys are definitely missing out on a lot of improvement if you're not grinding the game mode as well. Obviously, it doesn't mean you only have to grind 1v1, because then you'll lag on maybe like speed or aerials. But overall, it just gives you so much consistency that I don't want you guys to not grind 1v1. So yeah, that was tip number 5. Let's get to tip number 6. Who would have thought tip number 6 is having a good kickoff? Obviously, if you listen to tip number 5, playing a lot of 1v1, you're forced to kind of have a good kickoff. But I'll give you a couple tips in order to get a little bit better on kickoffs. If you're low ranked, you probably have a kickoff looking something like this. But this is not ideal. You always want to flip twice, because the focus on kickoffs is getting to the ball early. So my kickoff would look like this. I use a speed flip as well. So if you haven't checked my speed flip tutorial out yet, make sure to do so. In the comment section, I'll put the link, and also in my video description. But yeah, a little bit advanced skill. So if you can't speed flip, then I recommend you just to use a normal front flip. But the important part is that you get there early. By front flipping, you save up a lot of boost, and you're also getting to the ball really early, which is a really important thing on kickoffs. And then once you're in this position, you can do a lot of things. You can go to the left side of the ball and then side flip to the right, or you can do the opposites, go to the right side and then side flip to the left. Most important thing is that you flip through the ball and have also like that you're also covering your net. But you can do a lot of kickoff variations. Once you're in this spot, you can be creative. You can also go for a back left kickoff where you push the ball to the back corner. You can also delay the kickoff and then go for a 50 that stays somewhere in the middle. You can do a lot of things, but yeah, the most important thing is to land early. So flipping twice, very important. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's get to the next tip. Tip number 7 is having a fast aerial. I'm gonna go into this training pack. I'll have the code in the description box below, so make sure to grab that one from there. In order to aerial fast, the most important thing is to have a fast takeoff. So if your aerial looks something like this, you definitely just have to focus on your takeoff. So how do you take off? The most important part is to stay on the ground long until the last moment and then immediately go tilt your car back as far as possible. And the timing is also really important. So if you pay attention to me, I use boost, tilt my car and jump immediately up, and twice. Also the timing of the second jump really important. And once you're in the air, you can just use a tiny bit of air roll, and then you can place the ball pretty well. But yeah, important part is the takeoff. Another thing, how to be good at a double touch as well. There, just like that. You aerial up, and then you can just tilt the ball up to the backboard, and then you just have to read it. But yeah, takeoff, really important, using a little bit of air roll, and then you can put it on the backboard and get a double touch as well. But yeah, another thing to improve on your aerials is aerial control. I'm going to quickly go to the workshop map. It's the Lethermir's Giants Rings map. Okay, so once we're here, in order to improve your car control in the air, you want to use a lot of this practice routine. So obviously, if you're advanced, it's going to look like this if you keep spinning around. But the important part is to like go through the rings, like fly through them, and have control of your car and constantly stay up in the air. For you, it might look a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to go step by step, basically. First, if you first start with this, I would recommend you to do it without any air roll. So you want to just go through the rings without, just go into directions and keep yourself up in the air. Tapping the boost, really important to keep yourself up. So here you can tilt your camera up if you boost more, and you can tilt your car forward. Obviously, if you tilt your car down, you're going to boost down. If you tilt your car up, you're going to boost up. So really important. So you're going to have to like, you're probably going to struggle at the start, but you know, the more you're going to practice it, the easier it's going to get. And then once you can do this like with just normal direction, keeping yourself up, the next step would be to do it reverse. So backwards like this, you air roll back, and then everything is reversed. So if you go to the left, your car tilts to the right. If you go to the right, it tilts to the left. Forward is going to be backwards, all that kind of stuff, like everything reversed basically. And then you're going to have to practice it like this. And once you can do that, then the next step would be to just air roll around, which I'm going to show you in a second. So now, next step would be just to air roll around a little bit. So once you can do it backwards, you can just sometimes air roll around like that. Tilt normal, also like backwards, tilt a little bit in, a little bit out, sideways, you know, just like easier stuff kind of. And then try to like spin around as much as you can while tapping the boost and keeping yourself up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then the most difficult one would be with directional air roll, just freestyling around like this with air roll left and right. And yeah, that's pretty much it, how you improve your aerial control. I would recommend you to practice that every single day. It's as important as the one that I told you earlier with the basics. And yeah, let's get straight to the next point. Tip number 8 is going to be quick and simple. Halfflip. In order to execute a good halfflip, you need to cancel your backflip. So first, this is how a normal backflip looks like. If you cancel the flip, it looks like this. Right? So in order to cancel the flip, you need to press the opposite direction, which would be moving forward. And then you can add a little bit of air roll to any direction, and then you're immediately half flipping. This is an easy and good way to turn your car around. So if you're facing like this and you need to go back fast, you can rush back like this and can still save it. So you can thank me later, but yeah, let's get to tip number 9. Tip number 9 would be to care less. I know you guys might be confused, but I had a problem where I was too scared to play ranked because I was a certain rank and I didn't want to drop the rank. So for example, I was champ 1 and I didn't want to play because I hit that for the first time and I didn't want to drop the rank. So if you're in a similar shoes or you can relate, please don't make the same mistake like me and just keep queuing ranked, because at the end of the day, if you only focus on your rank, you will never improve at this game. And now if you check my ranks nowadays, I'm Supersonic Legend in every single game mode. Let's check out the leaderboard as well. I do not focus on my rank. All I focus about is my own skill. So as you can see, top 17 in the world in 2v2, top 16 threes. Like, you know, if you only focus on your skill, that's where you will get the most improvement. I used to play casual instead when I was scared to queue ranked. And yeah, please don't do the same mistake. But yeah, I don't mean that you should just not care in ranked at all. But I just want you to really focus less about your rank. Because at the end of the day, it is all about skill. And if you only focus on your skill, you're going to rank up fast. The last tip for today is going to be rotation. However, I don't have the best examples right now. I couldn't find a replay, but I'm going to try and visualize it really good for you guys. So the biggest mistake I see people do is when the ball, for example, gets put, you make your play and they save it and it goes to the left side, right? People tend to just like rotate behind the ball or underneath the ball. This is not the fastest way to rotate. And if your teammate wants to go in, if you think about it, like, let's say the ball is in the air, right? If you think about it, if you rotate here underneath the ball, and imagine how it's going to look for your teammate's point of view. If you're under the ball, he can never go in and challenge. That's why you always have to rotate behind into the midfield. So always, once you made your play and you see the ball is going to the left side, instead of like flipping towards that left side where the ball is, you want to rotate immediately through the midfield back so that once your teammate challenged and it gets past him, you're behind him and can make up for the mistake. I hope you guys understand that one. Then there's another thing that happens quite often. I don't want you guys to go away from the play, basically. So sometimes anything will happen here and you immediately commit for the big boost, and then your turn ball came back on. Like you basically turned it off, went for the big boost, and now you're turned it back on, and now all of a sudden a lot of stuff happened and you didn't know what happened. So instead of committing for a big boost, I want you to rather focus more on those diamond paths here, because those are gonna like help you get straight back to the net as quick as possible with high amount of boost, and then you can save everything from there. Alright, thank you so much for watching today, guys. It was a pleasure creating this video. It was a lot of effort, so if you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also hit the video with a thumbs up. And other than that, thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in the next video. Peace.